And we're really excited to present a session today called "There is more to hearing than hearing aids." A little bit about our speakers today. Lee, who you'll see right in the back, he is the president of the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association. And Cindy, right up front, she's the executive director of the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, the Edmonton Branch. Both have experienced hearing loss, and they're champions for equal communication for all who have hearing loss. And they are continuously guided by the question, how do we get on that equal playing field if we can't hear the message? So we're excited to welcome you both, and I will turn off my mic and give you the floor.
Good. Thank you for inviting us here today. We're excited to have this opportunity to talk to you guys about some other options other than just hearing aids, but also what our agency does and how we can help you through this process. Okay, well, I can talk just a little bit about the statistics. Here we go. Statistics here show us that there's more than 3 million Canadians that have hearing loss. This is actually the #1 disability in Canada today. So we have more than 100,000 in Edmonton alone. And unfortunately, approximately every second person by the age of retirement does have some degree of hearing loss. So this is a big population we're looking at. If hearing loss goes untreated, there's been some big studies that are showing a link to dementia and other cognitive disorders. So this is often what happens. We often think, we just misheard it. Cartoon quip up says, you never listen to me, you only hear what you want to hear. And of course the fellow says, sure, I'll have a beer. But hearing aids, typically people don't want them. They look and feel like they're giant things on our ears. They're something that is so big and everyone will see and it'll be embarrassing. But in actuality, hearing aids actually look like this. They're small. And if you flip to the next one, yeah, there's a variety of different types. They fit in the ear. They weigh very, very little. They're comfortable. They do an amazing job. Most of us that do wear them and wear them successfully surely can't do without them. So we do have some programs in place that help people understand hearing loss and hearing aids, because what happens is people purchase them and they either put them in their drawers, they don't use them, they use them for a couple of days and have an unrealistic expectation, and they never go back. And that's a big waste of money. Hearing aids cost typically about $2,000 each. So with our programs that we have in place, we hope to change what's been happening, because we know that there isn't a lot of support from where you get your hearing aids sometimes. And that's not saying all practitioners or audiologists don't walk you through it, but for some reason we don't seem to deal with them well. So we need an outside source like the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association that can help you through this process. So some of our programs, one of them are, we're going to go to our vision here, is that we do try to inspire and empower Canadians impacted by hearing loss. Our mission is that we connect Canadians impacted by this loss through our advocacy, education, and community engagement. So the very first program that I want to tell you about is called Your Third Ear. This is the program where anyone who has hearing loss and a communication partner, which can be anyone in your lives or several people, we run a course that is several hours long, and it helps you to learn and love and appreciate your hearing aids. It gives you information about your hearing aids that you probably didn't hear from your practitioner or your audiologist. It's a more reality focused workshop. We also offer sensitivity training out in the community. So anyone with hearing loss can contact us and say, I work in this place, for example, we would like a training session for our staff. We would come out there. We go to residences, residential settings, senior lodges, senior facilities, anything. We will do sensitivity training. We have, if you just want to scroll that up on more, we have a hearing healthcare kit, and it goes out to long-term residential settings, also to hospitals. If you're experiencing, or if you've ever been in the hospital and you've had a bad experience, this kit might help you the next time. You're welcome to contact us at any time and request a kit to take with you. The hospitals can request it, residential settings. We've been streamlined, we've been putting these out into the community for the last couple of years now, so they are available. We also offer speech reading classes. We have, it's set up as an 8-week session. And this is an amazing session for people to take when they have lost their hearing, especially near the beginning, to learn how to lip read a little bit better. But it's much more than that. It's coping strategies. It's in a safe environment with a group of people who are going through the same experience you are. And it is just an amazing transformation from class 1 to the end of the 8 weeks. These are 2-hour sessions, and there's just an invaluable amount of learning and just feeling like you belong somewhere with those classes. We also offer American Sign Language classes for anyone who wants to learn sign language. It's not a mode of communication that's easily accessible in the community. That's why we try to promote the speech reading classes. But there is a large interest for ASL, so we also do offer that here. We have some other services that you should be aware of, and one is our hearing aid assistant program. And it actually does offer assistance up to $1,000 for more than just hearing aids. It offers assistance. That's okay. You can put that up. It offers assistance for people with bone anchored hearing aids, which we call BAHAs, CIs, which are cochlear implants, ALDs, which is assistive listening devices, and perhaps just repairs even for your existing hearing aid up to $1,000. You have to have a low income. You have to have an audiogram and a cost breakdown from your practitioner. And we do expect a narrative of need. These applications are available on our website, or you can contact our office at any time and they can mail you out one. But we do find hearing aids are so expensive and people just can't seem to afford them. So we do barrier-free assessments and installation. We do have Lee himself who goes out and will assess your situation, your work environment, your home environment, what might be the best situation for you. Loops or FM. There's been an incredible amount of churches that have been done. If you've been having difficulty hearing in a setting, there's usually a solution. And for yourself, typically Lee will go out and assess your situation without a fee. But if it's a company or a church, or the city of Edmonton has been putting them up everywhere, then there is a fee for that. And typically it's covered in the purchase of what they purchase to help us with. So this is the accessibility symbol that we're looking at. This is the one that you want to look at and look for when you are looking, how could I hear in that setting? This is the symbol you want to look for. This is also a symbol. It's a dual symbol that I could wear, or I could put on my medical chart or something that tells people that I have hearing loss as a reminder for them to communicate with us adequately. So some of the examples of something, some of the support that's available out there, obviously, again, is hearing aids or cochlear implants. An implant is something, a glorified type of a hearing aid that sits in, is implanted into your head. It is a surgical procedure. It's not for everyone, but they are becoming more common, I would say, more common. And also there is no age criteria for that. So if you're in good health, you feel like hearing aids have not been doing the job for you, you may be a candidate, the Glenrose is the place that would have to access that. And you would have to get a referral from your audiologist or practitioner. So assistive listening, oh, we just go back.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Assistive listening is another assistive devices. There's all kinds of devices, just from phones to pocket talkers, just all kinds of assistive things that can help you to hear. You should always ask your practitioner, because if anyone walks out of a practitioner's office and thinks that the hearing aid will magically help you hear in every situation, that actually isn't the case. There's different situations where you need different types of hearing. So captioning may be one of the things you need, which is labeled here as CART, which stands for Communication Access Real-Time Translation. And that is captioning that will be the words written on the screen. There's voice to text software. So many of you today who aren't being able to understand us as well could actually be on an app on your phone that might help you, would be doing the captioning like that. So you can do things that it's voice to text. It would start writing for you right there. There's many apps available for that. In media, we are seeing many TVs on TV. It's 100% that must be captioned now. That was a fight that our association had to get that to happen. Movies, you can go to a theater. It's called Captive View. It's something that you can use at the theater. You get where you buy your ticket, you take it to your seat, and the captioning will come on an LCD screen in front of you. And that system sits in the cup holder of your seat. There's a lot of shows with just subtitles, but you can put the closed captioning on. And so there's supportive tech out there. You just have to know it's available and how to use it. But a hearing loop is what we want to talk about. And I'm going to turn it over to Lee at this point to talk about the loop systems and what they are.
Okay, so a hearing loop works with many hearing aids that have a sensor in it or a transducer, call it what you want, but it originally started out as something called a T-coil. So it is what picks up the signal. So what happens with all hearing aids is that they have microphones in them. And microphones work in some ways similar to the way your ear works, in that they have a membrane, a diaphragm that's closed that gets pushed by sound pressure, and that's how we pick up the sound. And what happens when you have hearing aids is it picks up all the sound pressure and you can't filter it out. So if you sit around a table and people are talking and someone wants to make a point, they speak up so that everyone can hear them, that they get the level you want to hear the sound, the intelligible sound, to be louder than the background noise. So that's called signal to noise ratio. And all a hearing loop does is put the microphone in front of the person so the signal is increased and we can pick it up so that we can understand clearly. Normally, people with normal hearing can pick out what they want to hear as long as what they want to hear is 4 times louder than the background noise. But as soon as you have hearing loss, you need 12 times a signal. So that's what the hearing loop does. That's its sole purpose. So it consists of a microphone. So a hearing loop consists of a microphone. So somebody would be wearing a lapel microphone or into the sound system, whatever. It gets connected to a special amplifier that is, and the output of that amplifier goes through a special antenna that fills up the room with a magnetic field. So when you switch your hearing aid over the T-coil, what it does is shuts off your internal microphones of your hearing aid that picks up all the background noise, and all you pick up is what's going through the amplifier. And because that amplifier is right beside the microphone, your signal to noise increase goes up and you can hear where otherwise you can't. So if you need more information, you can contact us and we can do that. But that type of system is called a wide area loop. So you can loop churches. They've looped when the London Olympics were on. They they had the loop system going all over the place so people can understand what's going on. So that's called the wide area loop, and there's different types of those, but that gets really technical. But we've installed a number of churches, theaters.
Screen up, please.
Yeah. So they're widely available here in Edmonton. Where I run into trouble, and a lot of people run into trouble, is you go to the hospital having a heart attack or whatever, and it's noisy in there and you can't understand what they're saying. So what you can use is a counter loop. So it's just a baby system, and as long as you're within 2 meters of that, you switch it over. The person that is serving you wears a microphone, and all the background noise disappears, and then you can hear what's going on. These are very inexpensive, installed, complete, calibrated, and everything is around $700 if we do it. It's very inexpensive, and these need to be in places such as banks, pharmacies, points of sales, information kiosks, and so on. It's very simple, very effective, and it allows us to understand the spoken word. So as you can see on the screen, you can see all the places: admitting stations at hospitals, pharmacy counters, very important, doctor's offices, very important, police stations and police cruisers, banks, obviously, service counters, retail outlets, airports. You know, these are very essential for our own safety. Public venues, churches. We've got several churches now in Edmonton that are looped. We've got the Walterdale Theatre is looped. The Art Barns are looped. One of the stages at Citadel is looped. City Hall has a lot of them, and it allows us to hear where otherwise we would be shut out.
You can contact us. You can contact us if you want a full list of where all the loops are available in Edmonton. If you wanted to see or try it out, you certainly can request a list. We also have it up on our website again, all the places that loops have been installed.
We also have a portable loop system, so that if you want to try out a system, we can come over and set it up. Explain how to use it, how to talk to your hearing care provider, so that your hearing aid is set up so that you can use this feature. It does make a huge difference. What people don't understand is that a hearing aid only gives you back about 60% of what you have lost in terms of hearing. Hearing aids do not give you the equivalent of 20/20 vision. So they improve it greatly so you can understand what's spoken, but they're far from perfect. So anytime we can improve the level of sound, the quality of sound is a big value, and that's what loops do. No other system does that.
So our association has done a lot of promoting of this loops. It's something that we find it's easier. So essentially what used to happen was FM systems, which is a similar system. Many of you probably have seen it. It looks like a little box, and you wear it, and you have to put a headset on or a neck loop on and go into the facility. Many people were not using that. People started installing those thinking they were helping the hard of hearing. What essentially happened was many hard of hearing people didn't want to go and get a box and wear a box and put a headset on, which was almost impossible to do over top of hearing aids. So they weren't being used, and they weren't being used correctly in situations. And so this other solution, which has been around a long time, loops, is much easier because you can just walk in, switch your hearing aid to the T-coil. People don't have to see that you're using a system. Nobody knows you're using it except you. It's more comfortable. You can set it, you can regulate it yourself with that, it's just a much easier solution.
And on top of it, you don't have batteries going dead, receivers aren't
Right.
dropped, the reliability is that of the hearing aid itself. And hearing aids generally last a minimum of 5 years, but some people have had hearing aids for over 20 years and they still function.
Okay, so we are big proponents for loop systems, and we want them to be installed everywhere because it just puts us on an equal playing field to be able to hear. We're really, really pleased that the city of Edmonton got on board with us and started to put it everywhere. You can go to council chambers, you can go to many of the rooms in City Hall, you can go to the kiosks when you go to make payments, and those loops are available.
All rec centers have them.
Recreation centers. So
libraries have them.
Yeah, libraries. So, you know, they're just getting on board. They're being the leader, and that should be everywhere. So one of our goals at the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association is to ensure that the hard of hearing consumer loves their hearing aids and feels supported and understood. This is probably our biggest goal. His hearing aids are extremely helpful. Anyone who says they aren't and have had trouble with them, we know what you went through. We know they're not easy to get used to. They do take some getting used to, and you have to work at it. But it's so much easier if you have someone helping you through that process. It's someone who's been there. And the programs that we do offer, in particularly your third year, helps you understand, but not only you, but your loved ones, those around you, because if you don't feel support from them about wearing it, then you're not going to wear it. One of the things we always hear from people who are close to us usually say, is your hearing aid on? Is it loud enough? How did you miss that? You are still going to miss things. So we need to help you through that journey. That's what we're here. We want you to add value to that and support you through this whole journey. Many people think it's like glasses, and it's not.
Hearing aids they are what they are. They are an aid. They are not a replacement. They do not restore hearing to 100%, which is unfortunate, but that is the reality of our life.
Right. Okay, next slide. And so in order to empower you to feel accepted and okay, we're asking that you might want to consider some of our programs, maybe become a member, check out our website. The only way that you can do this is if you're informed. We really believe that the consumer needs to be informed. So I know our presentation was quite short, but we wanted to leave it open for what questions you guys might have, what concerns you might have. So I think this is a good chance for Amber to pop back in and facilitate your questions.
This was phenomenal, Cindy and Lee. Thank you so much for this. And we actually already have 3 questions ready in our chat box. So if you're calling in through Zoom and you're using the computer, if you go to the bottom of your toolbar in Zoom, you'll see a little icon that says Q&A, and just click that.
Yep.
And if you're an attendee, you can type any question that you would like to ask Cindy and Lee, and Cindy and Lee will read the question out loud and then answer it live. If you are calling in today and you would like to ask a question, all you have to do is type *6 on your phone. That's *6, and then you can speak to Lee and Cindy directly. All right.
Okay, so the first question is, do most hearing aids have the T-coil setting? And the answer is most do. So these types that are called behind the ear, they look like this. About 80% of them have the T-coil. All cochlear implants have T-coils. The issue at hand, however, is that the T-coil has to be activated. The program has to be turned on by the hearing care facility that you bought it from. And most audiologists and practitioners do not have it turned on. So you have to request that it be turned on and ask them to show you how to access. In most hearing aids, it's just a press of either the button on the left channel or the right channel, and it gets connected automatically. Some you have to go through your your cell phone, but it's very easy to do. And the other thing about T-coils is you can also have it, so you have a combination of your T-coil signal coming in and your microphone. So if you need more questions, please contact. You can call me directly or contact Cindy, and we can step you through what you need to do.
Just going into that question with this next one, if you have T-coil, do you have it on all the time?
The answer to that is if you have it on all the time, then you have to have it on the microphone plus T-coil, otherwise you won't be able to hear the person next to you. So switching it on and off takes a matter of about a half a second. So once you get used to it, you do it automatically. And if you go to a venue and you see the symbol, you can switch it on. So it's very easily accessed.
Yeah, and your practitioner would show you how to do that. Okay, so another question, is the speech reading program available as an online service? So typically this program is done in person. It's quite challenging sometimes to do it with online. We are trying to offer this in January again. The dates will be posted on our website again, and I'll give you that contact information. But we are going to try to do this in person in January. It's once a week. We have it in a safe setting. We are apart. We have a plexiglass between. You'll also be provided with visors, but it might still be easier doing it in person. If not, we don't get attendance enough for a class in January, we will attempt to do this online in February. So please watch for our information that will be posted, or contact the office. The next one is, what is your website? So the website address is www.chha for CHA, for Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, -ed for Edmonton.com. And that's the website. I will also give you our phone number at the office. It's 780-428-6622. And you can also contact the office. There's a lot of information here, should have put it up, is info, INFO, at chha-ed.com. So all very similar. All right. Do anybody need that repeated? Everybody got it? Okay. Any other questions out there or comments? Anybody have any trouble with their hearing aids that they'd like to ask? Or does everybody love them like us?
And we do have another question just in a different chat box for Valerie. Is wondering, will we be able to get a copy of the presentation, as there's so much good information here?
So Amber, you guys are going to be providing this. I'm
Absolutely. So
what
we're doing,
so it will be provided in captioning.
For sure. So we're recording it right now, and then we're going to be captioning it, and then it'll be placed on the Seniors Forum website for accessible to all. So it'll be streamed through YouTube. So again, free to watch, and then to also go back for this information.
And I do want to stress that if a complex, a seniors complex, a community center, whatever, wants to have our portable loop system installed, we'll come out and do that and connect it up to the sound system. They have to provide the sound system, but we'll do this for free of charge, and we'll leave it running for about 2 weeks and do a talk so that they can go back to the hearing care provider and get their T-coils set up.
Okay, so we have a question about, is there a dash? Is the dash 2 hyphens or 1? It's just 1. It's info@chha-ed.com. And that stands for Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, Edmonton.
And I just also put it in the chat box, so not in the Q&A, but in that little box that says chat. So there's the phone number, the fax number, as well as the email, and I'll just get the.
Okay, great. Great. Okay, we have another question. Have you heard of a hearing aid that helps with tinnitus or tinnitus? And tinnitus or tinnitus, it can be pronounced either way. For those of you who don't know, is a sound that people hear in their ears. It can be a ringing, it can be waves, it can be many different sounds. It's a continuous sound quite often. And there are hearing aids that do help with that. They have a special masker that they put into the hearing aid. It's extremely important, though, when you go for the hearing tests, that you tell the practitioner or audiologist that that is what you're here for. Right? Many people just assume it's an automatic, and it's not. They have to filter the hearing aid differently to help you. But many people find that when they wear a hearing aid, it does tend to mask the sound of your tinnitus happening because you're hearing other sounds. I know some people who actually wear hearing aids to sleep so that they can even sleep, because then they hear other noises rather than their tinnitus, which we don't recommend you sleep with your hearing aid, but they find the hearing aids do help, quite helpful with that. So I would definitely give that a try if I were you. Next question, what do you recommend for the itchiness that comes with within a hearing aid? That's if you're wearing an inner piece. Some people are really sensitive to hearing aids for sure. They have itchy ears. There are a couple of solutions, and you actually do, again, get those right where you buy the hearing aid. There's creams or ointments that they recommend you put in on your hearing aid. You just put it on your finger and put it in your ear before you put the hearing aid in. It keeps it from being itchy, or when you take it out, they do actually help. They're called itchy ears.
And over time, that for most people, that phenomenon disappears, but it does. It's one of the challenges of wearing hearing aids, and a lot of people end up they buy the hearing aids, they put them in thinking they're going to hear like they did when they were 5 years old, and they find it's an entirely different world. They don't like it, and they take them out, they put them in the drawer and never use them again. And it's a very strange thing, but if you don't wear your hearing aids, they don't work. So, and once you get used to them, you go out the door without them in, you turn around and go back and you put them back in, because you feel you're missing so much without them. And I have what is considered to be moderate hearing loss. I've had my hearing aid since 2013, and I think a total of about 5 times I've gone back home because I'm a little dim in the attic and sometimes I forget, but you soon know you need them. They do work.
Yeah, it's all habits. But if you're not wearing your hearing aid all the time, every day, it's not doing the job it should. You have the whole process of being successful at wearing a hearing aid is actually retraining your brain. So you really need to retrain the brain to hear through the hearing aids. So every time you take them off and on and off and on, you're not really doing yourself any favors.
So there is a question that says, what device works for hearing programs on TV? So when you buy your hearing aid, you can get what is called a streamer. It's a Bluetooth connection, and quite often you need something called a Toslink, which is available at Visions, Best Buy, whatever. So you connect the digital audio out of your modern TV into this program, and most hearing aids will pick it up automatically, so you don't have to do anything at all. And the nice thing about that is that you can have the audio turned off completely, so that if you're watching TV at night and your partner is trying to sleep, the TV audio is turned off completely, and yet it comes streaming through your hearing aids, clear as a bell. The other way of doing it is you could also install a localized loop system into your TV room area. I've done that a few times. The advantage of the T-coil over the streaming is that the loop system does not drain your batteries, whereas the other system is a little thirsty on your hearing aid batteries.
You can also do something even simpler if you want. You can put a sound bar that connects to your TV and it just gives extra sound into the room. If you don't have devices on your hearing aid that can switch and you're not upgrading your hearing aid in the next while, the sound bar works quite adequately as well. I have one on my own TV. So that can help. And also obviously, you want to have your captioning on. Captioning is a great for all programs. And I know people say it's so fast, I can't keep up, or sometimes it's not accurate. And that's true. Sometimes it's not accurate, but for the most part, it is a skill you will learn. It is one of the best brain gym exercises using captioning. It's recommended for everybody. It's a great brain gym. And that's what you need. You need to exercise the brain because we need it for extra concentration for our hearing.
One of the things that happens, and we've seen this with COVID, is that there's more and more depression and people with dementia because of isolation, because you're not firing the neurotransmitters in your brain. And people with hearing loss that take the hearing aids out tend to be more isolated and their brain isn't as active. And that is what is believed to lead to cognitive issues that is associated with hearing loss.
Yeah, very good point, especially now with the way it is. And a lot of people are saying, well, I'm home alone. I'm not going out. I'm not going to wear the hearing aid. You need to have it in. You need to hear just even sounds, tapping, the snow, the rain. You need to hear sound. It wakes up your brain. So any other last questions? I think we've answered all of them that have come up.
I see another question actually just in the other chat box, which is what aid do you recommend for hearing TV? Was it lost link at Best Buy? Didn't quite get it. And what would be the cost of having a loop coil installed in a home?
I didn't get all of that. I'm sorry.
No problem. If you also, Lee, if you just click on the other chat, you could read that one too. It's in a different screen. And the question, what aid do you recommend for hearing TV? Was it lost link at Best Buy? Didn't quite get that. Or what would be the cost of having a loop coil installed in the home?
Okay, so the loop system in the home installed, if we were to do it here at the Hard of Hearing, would be it's hard to know because you have to do an assessment, but normally somewhere between $700 to $1,000, maybe a little bit less than that. If a person is, if you have a handy person, we can give directions and they could do it themselves, and then it's just the cost of the amplifier and probably an adapter to feed the system itself. So it varies. The issue is you have to go in and you have to do an assessment, which we would do free of charge. We should be charging for it. Sometimes loops don't work because of existing electrical problems, and all you get is a buzz in your ear. So we'd have to look at that. And as for what aid do you recommend for hearing TV? Okay, it's called Toslink, Toslink, I believe. So it's yeah, there you go. We just typed it at the bottom.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's
It's not the aid though.
It's not an aid. It just converts an optical audio signal to an analog signal.
There's no real best hearing aid to use on the TV.
Hearing aids are very personal. And you talk to one person, they say, "Oh, buy a Starkey." You talk to somebody else, and they say, "Buy a Widex." It's all very personal. In the end, what counts is having the hearing aid properly adjusted. And when you go and get your hearing aids, sometimes you have to sit down and talk to the audiologist practitioner, and they have to play with hearing aid adjustments. What happens is hearing aids are set up in bands, and each band occupies a certain part of what you hear, and they adjust that band. If you're down 10 dBs, they boost it by 10 dBs. So it's a bit of an art and a bit of a science. So when you first get it, you're not going to like it, and it takes some time to play with these adjustments to get it optimum.
Wonderful. We've actually just run out of time, but if you have any additional questions for Lee and Cindy, the contact information, they're incredibly knowledgeable. So feel free to give them a call at that phone number and that email. Lee and Cindy, this has been absolutely phenomenal. What a wealth of information. Thank you for allowing us to record this.